Okay, I've already drawn out the bee on a canvas panel, 12 by 12 inch, and I'm giving it a coat of acrylic gel medium with some cadmium orange as an imprimatura to paint onto. Let that dry and then just putting in the basic outlines and shapes. The colours I'm using are titanium white, Payne's grey, raw umber, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, transparent yellow, transparent red, cadmium orange and cadmium red. Now I'm changed over to a bristle fan brush. This is an old worn bristle fan brush, and I love using these because they produce such a beautiful, random, messy kind of brush stroke. And those of you who know my painting process, the first stages I like to be extremely messy and build the painting up from that. So it's going to be a painting of 3 different styles. It's going to have abstract elements, impressionistic elements and realist elements. The abstract being the background and parts of the foreground. Most of the foreground is going to be impressionistic, and the bee is going to have a bit of impressionism and a little bit of realism. Putting some cadmium orange now into those areas. This is a standard sort of shade, so I'm just going to darken it down with a little bit of Payne's grey just for those darker areas, and a little bit of light grey on the back end where it has a little white little area, and that's the shadow area. So it's light blue. It's Payne's grey and white make a beautiful light bluey grey colour, which is great for doing sunlight really in shadows. It's just a beautiful colour. So just quickly knocking this in very loosely, because I'm now going to start doing the background. So a quick spray of water, and I'm painting this quite a light background here because I really want that bee to stand out against that background. So I'm always thinking about contrasts, light and shade, darks and lights, and painting dark against light and dark against light. Just keep doing that. Made it a few different colours added now to it just to create a bit of variety. They're not vastly different colours. I'm going to start going a little bit darker as I come down the painting. So a bit more Payne's grey into that area there. But very, very loosely, very, very messy. I just really need to lighten that area up. I didn't make that light enough really. So just lighten that up there. Put some more of those colours up there. Now a little bit of cadmium red with some white there, just to make this a little bit of a foliage area. It could be flowers. It's up to the viewer to decide what they are. I'm just creating the impression of a bunch of flowers there, or foliage. And because it's impressionistic, the viewer will make all that up. Using my silicone tool now just to move that paint around, to blend it all, blur it, and make it extremely messy. The messier the better at this stage. I can take paint out with it, I can apply paint with it, and I can blend with it. It's a great little tool. It's the Catalyst silicone painting tool. And I've left links in the description below if you're interested in any of the materials and tools that I use. And if you do use those links, then you'll be helping to support me and my channel, which helps me to keep bringing you these videos. I also have a membership tier on my YouTube, a very basic one. It's just to support me for the price of a cup of coffee. It just helps me to keep going, really, basically. I'm so appreciative of the members that I have already. Thank you so much to all and every one of you. Now back to the painting. I'm going to just keep going at this background until this is the second layer now, the second stage of this background. That first stage has dried, so I'm now going over it again with similar colours, although no, not exactly. I'm adding some other colours in there as well now, because I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to paint them all and then I'm going to blend them all with the silicone tool again. But this time it'll show up differently because there's a painting underneath it already. So a quick squirt with the sprayer and then start to move that paint around, and you can see it's going a little bit more smoothly this time, not quite so messy. I've done the messy stage, and now this is the second less messy stage. It still has a messiness about it, which is I love, and I cannot live without that messiness when I'm doing a painting. And now with a cheap bristle brush, I'm just going to put in those darks once again with Payne's Grey of the bee, of the darker areas of its little body there. And again, it's an old worn bristle brush, which is great for doing these rough, loose brush strokes, which you can't do with a brand new flat nylon brush. You can only do it with a worn bristle one. So I'll put that grey back in there as well. I'll add one or two little bits here and there, like that. And now I'm going to mix a lighter colour, tiny bit of transparent yellow into that white there, just to stop it from being so cold. Because white, titanium white generally is quite a cold colour. So you might need to add a little bit of, I don't know, yellow ochre would do, just a tiny touch. Or cadmium orange. And it just warms the colour up, just that little bit. But you can see how those light areas have sunken in already. So I will have to keep going over them several times before they stay bright. So again, a little touch of that yellow in there, because I'm going to put this into the orange areas now. So a bit more yellow for the lighter areas of that orange. And I'll also add some of these colours into this foreground area where the flowers are supposed to be. I'm not going to paint flowers. I'm only going to paint my impressions of flowers, just to give the viewer a basic idea that there could be flowers there, and then they make those flowers up in their own mind, rather than painting every single little flower and every little petal and every little leaf. It's not necessary. I want the bee to be the focus here, so any detail I put, like I'm putting in now, the legs and its little face and its little feet, they're the only areas that I have detail, and so that's where the viewer will concentrate their gaze, in those areas. Also, sharp, hard edges. The bee is quite hard edged against that background, whereas everything else is soft. So that already makes it stand out. So you've got several things making it stand out. You've got the lightness and darkness, the contrast, you've got the hard edges, and you've got the detail. Those three elements will really make an image leap out from the background, or where you want the gaze to be, where you want the viewer to look. Use those three elements. Just putting some of those cadmium oranges now into that area quite loosely, impressionistically, and also putting a few lines into these wings. Now I don't want to do too many lines because I don't want to make it look too realistic. These wings are a blur. When you see a bee, you cannot see the wings, so you don't need to paint them realistically. Just going to put this eye in a little bit better now. Perhaps a little bit of light on that edge there, and a little bit of light on the top of that eye, just to show it's catching the sunlight, and perhaps a little dark area there to show a little reflection on the eye. A little brighter spot there, and the eye comes alive, and the whole bee comes alive as soon as you do that. So this is my old worn nylon brush that I use for many different things. I use it for applying thick paint like this, or I can splay the bristles of it by pressing the bristles into the palette when I pick the paint up, and the bristles will splay out like that to create lots of fine little bristles. So it looks like, so basically it's like painting with a lot of very tiny brushes all at once. You can do an awful lot with one brush like this. See how it works? And I've done that in the orangey yellow bits of the of the bee. They're the coloured areas where it goes orange. Well, I'm going to put some of this bright light there, like that as well, into that. And then what I'll do is I'll glaze over the top of that later, when it's dry, with some yellow, and it will be very, very vibrant. You'll see as I do it later. So I'm just putting the darks back in once again, because the darks will become a little bit more dull as they dry as well. So I'm just putting those in, making them really dark now, because that has to really stand out against that background. Splay those bristles, and then putting the highlight back in again on here and there. A couple of little dots of light on the wings, not going along the entire edge of the wing, just a couple of little dots here and there is all that's required, and is much preferable to doing a complete line around the wings. So I'll put those lights back in again with some pure white, and now a bit of the reddish, orangey red, just for the lower edges of some of these legs, like that. Just gives them a little bit of character, having some warmth in there as well, rather than having completely black legs. Now I'm mixing up a bit of a green tone with a bit of cadmium yellow with Payne's grey and white, and with a dagger brush just applying some very simple foliage or flowers. You know, it can be anything. It's up to the viewer to decide what these are. Very, very simple, very quick, very impressionistic. So I'm now going to put some of these in. They can be leaves or they can be flowers. Just giving the impression of flowers by just painting one or two petals without painting the entire range of petals around it. Just suggests flowers without me actually painting flowers. Now I'm using a splatter technique with this brush. It's an old nylon brush. It has to be quite liquid, this paint, for it to come off the brush, for it to splatter. But I like doing this with some of my paintings, not all of them, but with some of them, to create a sense of movement. And just adding a couple of these little bright little dots of light here, and I'll also add a few little pinkish tones like this here, like that. And then a few pink splatters. Why not? Back to the darks again, just to qualify those darks where they've sunk in, and also put those antennae back in. And if you make a mistake, like that's too thick, so just take it off, wet your finger and wipe it away, and then do it again. If you're quick, you can do that with acrylics. You can easily amend mistakes. And if you're not that quick, let it dry and paint over the top. It's a very, very easy medium to work with, acrylic painting. Now I'm using a glazing medium. This is a golden open glaze. I'm just adding some transparent yellow now. I'm going over those white areas of the orange. And you can see, where I go over the white, how vibrant that becomes, even if I go over some of the other areas as well in the painting. It creates this vibrant sort of colour that you cannot paint. It has to be glazed. Just make it a little lighter under the body there, just to make it stand out a bit more. I may darken that leg just a little bit. Like that. And I'm going to put some warmth now into the body, using a glaze of red this time, just to warm up that part of the body. And I'll just do one or two other little touches here and there, and then that's the painting finished. I am always interested in your questions and comments, and I do try to answer every one of them. Hopefully I will see you on my next painting video. So until then, have a lovely day and happy painting!